but I opened my company within 72 hours.
I don't think we talked about that.
Well, that's something, if I could do that, then I'm like, all right, well.
We talked about your education journey and then you learning from other people and then starting your own practice. How'd you start it in 72 hours?
I told myself, I'm not gonna cry, my makeup's done. My car accident was on. It's huge. Probably the second biggest thing I've done in life.
You have the space, don't worry.
Sorry, this one's hard for me.
The baby's gotta grow, you gotta stop changing the diapers, you gotta let it change.
And all this was my ammo to what I'm about to share.
So you used all these traumas that were happening to push you forward into what's coming next.
Exactly.
Welcome back to another episode of Leading by Example. A few months ago, we sat down with Rebecca, the founder and CEO of Flawless Aesthetics here in Sacramento, California. We talked to her about her humble beginnings, the very successful business that she has, and the huge giveaway that she was doing, which was a pink Mercedes, donating to the local charities and causes here in Sacramento. Today we're coming back for part 2 to talk about how the event went, how her life has been since then, and what she has next. Rebecca, welcome back.
Hello, thank you. I'm happy to be back. This is a long time coming.
Yeah, it's been a lot has happened since then. It was a pretty big event as well, so let's get right into it. How do you feel the event went overall?
Honestly, it exceeded my expectations for sure. It was such a humbling and amazing experience, something I want to continue doing. But I would probably say that experience, taught me a lot. And I'm very happy I did it, something I will continue doing in the near future. Okay. So, yeah.
What were your expectations when you were going in?
Truthfully, it was my first time, so this was all new to me. Craziest thing is I thought of the idea a week before September 1st because my goal was to have a 30-day to plan this, which I don't do that. I usually need 90 days to plan an event.
So you planned this whole entire event within
30 days. Yeah.
Good.
Well, technically a week before I committed immediately and I had 30 days, to have this huge event, what I was doing. It was very scary, but one thing about me is I take challenges, and whether it's going to be good or bad, but I'm always positive about it. So, it was a great experience, and overall, again, it exceeded my expectations.
Would you say that you've raised a lot of money for the causes and charities that you were supporting?
Of course. So I ended up working with 2, which was CCHAT. It's a school for children who are deaf, which we talked about in the first part 1. And also with the Bobby Jackson Foundation for Breast Cancer Awareness. We raised about, if I remember exactly, each charity got over $10,000, I want to say. This also it's not including all of my amazing sponsors too, that helped towards the cause, the event, the car. So it was amazing for 30 days.
How about the car? A lot of people are going to be wondering who won it and how she won it, what happened after she won the car. It was a very unique giveaway that you guys did.
The car, that was one of my followers, actually. I've never met her before. My niece, who's deaf, she's the one that actually was doing the drawing on the stage with us. She picked the winner, and her name is Ina. She's the one she's also an esthetician, which was crazy.
A lot of people were wondering if this was like planned since you're an esthetician and she's an esthetician, so it was like...
I didn't even know her.
Nice.
This was everything was authentic. It was not planned. That's why I made sure my niece or the children that were there, I had pull all the drawings because we had multiple giveaways, so they can see that we have no part of it. I can't control something like that.
So perhaps that was a big synchronicity there.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it's amazing. Sometimes I honestly think about it and I'm like, how did I pull this off?
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people don't know, September was the month I was planning something so amazing, but I also was dealing with a traumatic change in my life that, I masked very well, and there was days when I didn't want to get out of bed, and I have to go meet with my sponsors and do all the videos I was doing to prepare.
Including our interview?
Oh yeah, it was, actually our interview specifically was I was dealing with a lot just that week alone. But I masked it so well, and I tried to stay as strong as possible. And I do say even doing this event was also a blessing for me.
How so?
I'd say because it was for one, an amazing distraction, and it reminded me there's bigger problems out there in life when I'm over here seeing children who are deaf, and then, people fighting cancer in general, not just breast cancer. And I'm dealing with the personal thing that I dealt with. And it was, to the point where I didn't want to get out of bed sometimes, but I knew I had to. I committed to something, and I didn't want to let myself down and everybody else down that was looking forward to something so special. So
I think that's a big part of how you ended up with a pink Lamborghini. You don't quit.
No, and one thing I'd say is when I put my mind into something, there's no stopping me. And I manifest a lot of things in life, but again, I always, say it's not only manifesting, it's God and all the blessings that He's done for me.
100%. How would you say the Sacramento community showed up for you and for the event?
I love my hometown, born and raised here, and everybody, emotional. I get emotional just everybody who came out. I was very shocked, and with Diamond Autosport, with all the people, that came out to support their pink event that I collaborated with, and my clients, people I've never met, like my fans on social media who came to support me, who, some brought me flowers I've never even met, and they're like, hey, I'm, this person on social media, I always like and comment, you inspired me. Seeing that and doing that alone was just like, I did something, and this is why I want to continue to do it. And I built so many connections, and again, I have to shout out to my sponsors. They were a big part of this too. And of course, Mo at Diamond for doing something that he does every year, and working with him was such a great experience. And I don't know, it's just, there's so much I could say.
Yeah.
I guess.
What could you say you learned from such an experience and such a big event and being a big part of it?
That's a great question. The whole process was a learning experience because I've never done something. I was learning every day, how...
This was the first time you do an event like that, right? Especially also with charities.
A charity, yes.
Yeah. How did that process go? Someone wants to do what you guys were doing? Because it's a very good idea.
So like I mentioned in the beginning, the idea came to me about a week before I started the process, and one thing about me is when my heart is pressed, I can't even avoid it. If it's pressed to do something, I can't avoid it.
Because of your niece, or?
No, it's like when you really want to do something and then you're like, okay, it just seems like so much work, but it's just consistently on my mind and my heart. I know I need to do it. And doing that, as I said, I'm learning in the process of, how I'm going to go introduce myself to my sponsors and see if this is something they want to do with us, and meeting the charities I chose. Obviously, I chose CCHAT because my niece was going there, who's deaf, and then Bobby Jackson Foundation is very known, working with Greg, who's, helps with the foundation.
He's the manager of it? Yeah,
he's the manager of the foundation. So I got introduced to him, and that's how we started. I gave him my idea, and he loved my idea, and his people were so amazing. He had a website, his website designer helped design my website for Flawless for a Cause. Everybody was just so hands-on. It couldn't have been any more smooth for something to happen in 30 days.
Nice. And we talked a lot about your niece, and a big part of it was for her. How's she been doing?
Oh, she's amazing. She had her cochlear implants done. She's such a outgoing and full spirited. She loves to sing, she loves to dance. Now that she could hear better, her communication, we've noticed a night and day difference from when she was just wearing her hearing aids to the implants. Dramatic difference as far as, she talks normal. Sometimes we didn't understand her and she couldn't hear us, or she have to read our mouth, but it's amazing the change that it made her life. A completely different person. So
you've seen firsthand the effect that these donations do have on people.
100%.
Did you see it on people other than like the donations that we've gathered? Did you go and see what those donations have done for the rest of the people?
I have checked in with CCHAT mainly because I know the money was going towards the school, where it's a nonprofit school, and
that school is here in Sacramento.
It is here in Sacramento. And it is one of the best schools out there. And just the development that I see in my niece, I'm like, why wouldn't I want to donate to something? I've seen the change it made in her. But also what they do is they have quality equipment, and they're there for the children, and they have, their doctors on site. It's just the amount of effort they put into that school is mind-blowing when I got a tour of it. Mm-hmm. And I did go back. They had a fundraiser they do for the school where the kids do a bike-a-thon, and they go, they do a bike-a-thon and raise money for the school. They have like the police come, the fire department. I actually went out there and just seeing the whole school, all these children coming out with their parents was amazing because it's something I helped contribute. And now I see how these kids and what it's doing for them.
I've seen some of your story posts when you were doing that a couple months back.
Oh yeah, I did it. I think this was my 3rd year. I go every year that my niece does that every year. I'm part of it. And then of course at the end, I had my ice cream lady come and give ice cream to all the kids that, it was a hot day.
Yeah.
So it was nice. I have a weakness for children, especially, I have 9 nieces and nephews. So
9?
I have 9.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who doesn't believe that donations would make a difference?
How do you not? I mean,
let's say they think that those donations are not really going to reach that person that they want to help, or it's going to go into logistics that are not really going to help the kid, or whatever the case may be, because there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of unknowns that people can feel like they gave their money, but they don't know what happened next.
And that's actually a great question, because when I started this process, I was hesitant for that. I didn't want any negativity. There's one specific post I'm gonna run back to is when I pulled up in my Lamborghini to the school, when I was doing the video announcing the school I'm giving the money to, somebody had comment, oh, well, someone driving a pink Lambo, it's a tax write-off. No, it had nothing to do with that, honestly. For me, just giving already is the biggest satisfaction. Whether if it went to somebody or not, the fact that you did it out of your pure heart, and it's something deep down you contributed to something, whether they used it for the right reason, but you did it for the right reason, not even if you're doubting what they're using it for. It's kind of like this. If sometimes I see homeless people around and they ask for money, I don't like to give money to homeless people if I think they're using it for drugs. Okay. But that's why I'll say, are you hungry? I'm more than happy to buy you a meal. But again, me knowing that I still gave it to them, even though I'm not sure what they're going to do with the money, I did, what my heart was felt to do in that moment.
Yeah, and even if it is a write-off, I mean,
of course,
you might as well.
I mean, I have
it's
a
win-win
business,
situation.
But it had nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing. It was just something that that I just felt the need I need to do for, awareness and something for my community. I just love, I've done so many other charities since then, like being a part of it.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you about. After that charity, are you involved in other ones that you want to promote or talk about? The floor is yours.
So September was the car giveaway I did with the Mercedes. And then we had something else came up in November. In November, I did a City of Refuge in Sacramento. They were feeding them. So I was a big part of that with Bobby Jackson's foundation.
That's the name of it?
City of Refuge, okay. Sacramento, yeah. It's an organization where they're helping these people who don't have, around Thanksgiving, a meal or, clothing. And I was, really excited to be a part of it, where I actually physically is helping and feeding all these people, different ages, different. What
do you mean physically?
We're feeding them,
okay.
It was like a buffet style, and there was I don't know how many people came by that day. It was so many different people and age groups, and one stood out to me, a girl. I was the one that was doing the mashed potatoes, and she told me that she hasn't had mashed potatoes in about 6 months, and that she's been craving it, and she came back for a second round. And it just kind of broke me. And I'm like, and here we go, we waste food to left and right. And this girl was so happy to eat mashed potatoes. It was just, that was one other one we did with Bobby Jackson. And then it was Christmas time. So we did a holiday toy drive with Shriners Hospital, Children's Hospital, which Euro Sunday does every year. And I was my first time being a part of it. And it was, again, a great experience. Some of these children they don't celebrate the holidays like we do, because they're in a hospital dealing with things that, sometimes we forget that there's, children out there, or anyone dealing with cancer or sickness or amputated feet, legs. And I got a tour of it, and it was just.
Oh, you got a tour of the whole
I
hospital?
did. I got a tour of it, and I got to go see, I forgot it's the room that they called, but pretty much it's customized arms, legs for these children. And I skin grafts. It was just.
What's a skin graft?
Skin graft. So if somebody was, I don't know, if they're in a car accident, their skin's peeled off, and it's just the way they.
Bikers.
The way that burnt patients, when they're burnt and they have to skin graft their face. It was just amazing.
And they showed you the
whole room. I got to see all the equipment, and I seen all these, prosthetic arms and legs and feet. And it was sad because they were like babies. They're like 2-year-old arms and legs and feet. And they're making custom for these children. So we did the toy drive in December that was another thing I was a part of. The little 10-year-old boy who had cancer, who beat cancer. My sister works for the CHP, and she called me and she was like, hey, CHP is doing a parade for a kid in Elk Grove who beat cancer. And she's like, would you want to be a part of the parade? And I didn't know this kid's dream car was a Lamborghini. So I was like, of course, no doubt about it. And I went out of my way and, bought cute, Lamborghini toys and shirts or hats to bring. And it was a huge parade where it was like the police, the CHP, fire department. I think they had a SWAT truck or an FBI. It was a SWAT truck, maybe bikers, exotic cars. So me, my sisters, and my brothers were the exotic cars. And we did a whole parade for this boy. So that was something else I was a part of. I've done so many different events.
Did he get a chance to sit in the Lambo? Or?
Oh yeah, I actually gave him a ride. He sat in my car and my sister. My sister has a Corvette. And he wanted a ride in the Lambo, so I gave him a ride in the Lambo, and he was so happy. There's a video on my Instagram of that whole experience, and it talks about the event. Yeah. And that was another one I did. And the final one, it was Shop with the Cop that Bobby Jackson's foundation did, which we gave these children, I think it was $200 gift cards. And, it was around back to school, and they're shopping with the, Sacramento Police Department.
Like going to, let's say, Target? Or
it was Walmart. Okay. So Walmart actually even funded some of those gift cards for these children. So we were a part of that as well. And I helped the foundation giving away, they had $200 to spend freely in Walmart. And then the police officers were with them.
Yeah, walking around
with them and doing all the shopping. That was also such an amazing experience.
Is this for a specific group of children or?
I believe from what Bobby Jackson's foundation is when Greg works with so many different churches and so many different schools, and it was one that reached out to them.
Okay. So ever since that giveaway and all these events that you've been doing in terms of charities, how's life been looking for you?
Well, I've had my highs and lows. I would probably say Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, I don't know if you saw, I broke my wrist.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram.
I broke my left wrist, and I'm a lefty. So it was very tough. I'd probably say 5 weeks of my life. I didn't know it was broken. I mean, let me take this back. I knew it was broken, but I didn't want to admit that it was broken, and I didn't go to the doctors when it happened. I slipped and fell, and I tried to brace myself, and I fell on top of my wrist the day after Thanksgiving. And when I fell, my wrist swelled up, and I went to sleep without, going to get it checked. I was like, oh, maybe I just sprained it. Woke up swollen, and I was like, it's broken. And I go to urgent care, and they do an X-ray. Within seconds, the doctor walks in. Oh yeah, it's snapped in half. My bone. And I was like, I knew it.
That's a very sensitive spot.
It is very sensitive.
A lot of small bones there.
It is very sensitive. It's very painful. And the fact that I'm a lefty and what I do for a living, I use my hands. Yeah. So in that moment, I feel like my life just crashed, and I started feeling bad for myself. And I was like, I can't believe this happened. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I work with my hands. I do facials all day. How am I going to, and I'm a lefty. I can't write. I eat with my left. Everything was with my left hand. So I go home. I had a depressed day that day. I laid in bed, cried it all out. I had broken a kneecap years ago, and I was bed rested for about 4 months. And I remember in that moment, like, I was severely depressed because I was a, boxer, weightlifter, dancer. Like, I loved dancing, and then my life just changed, For
those who want to know more about her, you can watch part 1. She talked a lot more about her upbringing and what she does in her life besides work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. So when that happened, it kind of reminded me when I broke my leg, and it took away everything that I enjoy doing. So now I'm like, wow, my wrist is broken. It took away what I enjoy doing is my job. I was depressed, laid in my bed, and I woke up. Something just told me, you're not doing this, not again. You're not gonna get depressed. There's people out there who don't have arm and legs, and they get through life. This is a broken wrist that I could fight through. I'm not gonna let it beat me up. I literally called my makeup artist, and I was like, all right, I need to feel better about myself. If you can do my makeup, I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm going to still go to work. I still went to the gym, even though I probably did legs 3 times a week because I couldn't do much upper body.
It's something.
It's something because
moving the energy around.
I didn't want to, go and be miserable at home. I was like, I'm not going to let it affect me. Life has tried me in the last 6 months. Life has tried me. And
in what ways? Besides
just everything.
Yeah.
Breaking my wrist was one. And then I do have to say, breaking my wrist, my friends have, honestly, that were with one emotional thing that I'll never forget is I'm a lefty, so when I'm eating like steak, I can't cut it.
Yeah.
My friends were literally, I felt like a child. I'm at a restaurant with my friend Amira, and she's cutting my steak for me, and that was so humbling as well. I'm like, wow, I have such great people around me. My friend Melina helping me get dressed or do my hair because I couldn't do any of that stuff myself for almost 5 weeks. My mom calling me every day, what can I make you today? She knows I love cooking, and I couldn't cook much. I was supposed to host the holidays. I had to cancel that because I couldn't do it. So life tried me, and my friends and family who supported me, and my patients who were so understanding because of having a broken wrist, but I still did facials with it.
with the broken...
oh yeah. When I went to the urgent care for a follow-up 2 weeks later, I was in a splint, so it was removable.
I remember you had the black thing on, right?
Yes, it was a removable splint. They wanted to put me in people kept asking me, is it really broken? Why are you wearing a splint, not an actual cast? Oh, they wanted to put me in a cast from here to here, and I refused. Because if they put it here, I couldn't bend my arm and do anything, or I was going to be the tip of my finger showing. I refused. I said, I'm going to wear the splint.
Your skin a little bit.
Exactly, and I refused that. And because I would take off don't do this, but I would take off the splint and I would still do facials without it. So my broken wrist, I was doing facials without the splint. That's why I didn't want to put a cast on, because I couldn't remove that.
Yeah.
So
did it hurt while you were doing it?
Oh, of course it did. Oh, it was functional. It was just a little bit more gentle. Of course, it was really painful, extremely painful, and but it healed pretty quickly because I started, learned about peptides, and I started doing peptides to help with healing it faster.
Okay, well, which peptides, if someone's watching this,
is
going through the same thing?
It was BP 157 and TB 500, or am I saying that correctly? But yes, it was a mixture of both, which is for muscle repair. Okay. And
you feel it actually worked?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've noticed a dramatic difference. I was from not taking it to even the doctor was amazed because I was going every other week to get checkups. They were doing an x-ray. They're like, how did you heal so fast? And you're not in a cast, and you're still working, and you're going to the gym. And I was like, well, I started taking those peptides, and I would ice it too.
Advertisement for peptides right there.
Oh, I know. And it was amazing. When I see people with a broken leg, broken arm, I'm like, go try these peptides because it changed my life. It really did.
I've been doing my research on that. I've been thinking about whether I want to go for it or not. So
there's some good ones out there. Definitely do your research and make sure it fits and right for you. But that is something that helped me for sure.
You were talking about how your family and friends were helping you. I wanted to circle back to that and just point out how that's also good for them and good for your relationships, to build deeper relationships and have you guys appreciate each other even more. Because sometimes it's good to let other people help you.
Yeah, and I wasn't used to that because that's one thing about me. And my friends and family will say I don't ask for anything. I will. It's like pulling teeth for me to ask for anything. Yeah, same. I lived so independently my whole life. And my friends would tell me it's okay to ask, and I'm like,
but it's not nice. It's like you'd rather not.
Exactly.
I'd rather give you than ask you.
100%. And I'm a giver. I do things without people asking for. It's just who I am, and I've always been.
That's why I wanted to circle back to this, because I relate.
Okay. Yeah.
That to give people space to help you is also a gift for that person.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. And like I said, I couldn't. Without my friends, I don't know how I would have gone through it, not only physically, emotionally, and mentally, because they've been my big support system with everything that's gone in my life, from, my change in September, from my car accident, from
you had a car accident besides the wrist situation?
Yes, so my car accident was February 16th this year. Okay. And that was a really...
So that was after the wrist?
Yeah, so I'm telling you, that's why life has tried me. Yeah. Life has tried me to pull me down, but I just refused. I was it was one. My friends kept telling me like, what's going on? It's like
Could
one
it
after
possibly
another.
be maybe God is trying to hold you back a little bit so that maybe you sit back and reflect and maybe go inward more?
I would say yes, and I also feel like I was since my event, I was go, go, go. I didn't give myself time to even have a meltdown because I needed that. I needed to have
The process, I mean, you're doing a lot.
and
You
yes,
gotta-
and
you
I
gotta
had to
integrate all
process
that.
things that were changing in my life dramatically that were changing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't allow that to happen. So I think that was a way of like God slowing me down too. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you need to slow down. Here you go. Your wrist is
Yeah.
broken. What, that's going to slow you down a
It's
little
gonna
bit.
force you into thinking about your own life and thinking about yourself and your own well-being.
For sure.
How were you after the car accident? Was it a big car accident or what happened there?
The car accident,
If you want to talk about it.
I do, but I am going to definitely cry. But my car accident was on February 16. I was on Fulton. I was driving to my office. It was raining. And the reason it's emotional to me because I've been in so many car accidents in the past. And
Part one, you were talking to us about it.
yeah, there's been many traumatic ones I've been in, and this was very traumatic. And my cousin passed away from a car accident similar to the way my car accident was. So that's the first thing I remember when I hit the pole, because that's how my cousin passed away too, hitting a pole. So it was just, it happened so fast. It was raining, my car hydroplaned, the car in front of me made a sharp right turn, and the other car braking, and obviously the fact it was raining, my car started sliding and hydroplaning, went in circles, God knows how many times. And luckily I didn't hit.
Your car went in circles.
My car did. Luckily there was no, people walking around, but I went straight into an electrical pole and it fell halfway, on Fulton. And to the point where when CHP officers came, all my airbags blew, my front of my car was gone people were coming up to my car and asking me if I'm alive because that's how bad it was.
Did the pole fall on the roof of the car? Or?
On the side of it. And that's when CHP was like, if this pole had hit your car, it would have electrocuted you because it was one of the powerful electrical poles apparently. And how I'm very lucky that it didn't, it could have been worse pretty much. And I walked out of the car, no broken bones, thankfully, but I did end up going to the hospital.
Broken emotions.
For sure. That was, I still have PTSD now when I drive. And I didn't drive for a little bit after because of my PTSD. I think that was the final straw for me because I'm like, God, like how much more could a human handle? Like how much more can I handle? And I have to mask this, my life, like with my patients, my family. And I don't like my parents to ever know what's going on. I don't like to worry them. And I come to work, I have to have a smile on my face. I can't call in sick. That's not the type of job I have.
You're the boss.
Exactly. I work for myself. So I just had to come through it. I'm sure some of my patients probably sense things and they've asked me like, are you okay? Because there has been times, but I could only hold so much,
You're human.
Exactly. I'm human. And I just feel like that accident was one of the biggest, eye openers in my life where life is short. You never know. And I'm thankful that I'm alive. And it could have been worse. Honestly, it could have been worse. Yeah.
When something like that happens to you, how do you keep yourself positive? Because that's a lot back to back, like wrist and then accident and then personal life situations.
One thing with me is when life hits me down, it is a motivation for me to come up even stronger and better than ever. So I have been working on some projects that I'm not ready to announce yet, but in the next couple weeks I will be announcing what I have done in those 6 months when life has tried me, and everybody will see, what I did pretty much with all the negativity going on. And I still can't believe that I'm doing what I'm doing after everything.
You're using all that as fuel.
It's my fuel. It really is my fuel. It's just.
And that's part of why I wanted to ask you about this, because a lot of people watching, they're going to be very inspired by you pushing forward, regardless of whether other women that are doing the same job as you or even men.
Yeah.
You're hustling pretty hard.
It is a
It's very respectable.
Thank you so much. It's definitely, at this point, I feel like I could conquer anything life throws
That's
at
good,
me.
yeah.
Like at
And
this point.
that's why we're sitting down, because the name of this podcast is Leading by Example, and that's what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It has been a challenge, but soon I will be announcing what has distracted me and what came out of all of the bad things in the last 8 months of my life, which is going to be a huge dramatic change, and I'm excited to share with everyone, but I can't for another maybe 2 weeks, so stay tuned to see the video coming soon about my big announcement. But something great came out of all of it, okay?
Yes.
And not only great, the fact that I'm still alive and I'm healthy.
That by itself is the biggest blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So would you say you came out stronger after all that,
all
these challenges?
Of course, now I feel like I can literally conquer anything in the world, and I'm ready for any challenge because I've been challenged for the last 8 months, back to back to back. I've never been challenged like that in my life so closely. So it's like every 2 months I was getting hit with something. I'm like, what is going on? When am I going to catch a break? And I finally feel like I caught a break.
What would you say to someone currently going through one of those back-to-backs? Because I feel like that's been happening to a lot of people.
You know, what I would say is stay positive, and because your mind is very powerful and mind over matter. And I was very positive, and I knew that sometimes things happen in life for a reason. You won't understand in that moment. I didn't understand in that moment, but I do now. I understand why these things happened to me, because it made me who I am now, stronger, better, and more focused and motivated. And I took it for a positive. Like
You didn't let it get to you.
No, I didn't let it get to me, because that's what life wants to get to you. But I wouldn't allow it. I refused to let it get to me.
How do you refuse that? Because there's a lot of pressure, just, a lot of different angles coming at you, telling you, hey, why don't you, quit here or relax there or not go to work there, or just let it dwell and feel miserable about yourself. Because
where's that going to get me?
Exactly.
Where is that going to get me? I mean, depressed in my bed? No, I've been there. I've been there, and I'm like, I'm going to use this as my ammo to be the better version of myself. And that's what I did. And
so you chose not to stay in bed and just get up and push forward.
Push forward no matter what. And I kept thinking of, there's worse out there. There's, like I said, there's, people who don't have any arms and legs, and there's, people who are suffering and other health issues or things going in their life.
Who don't even have a roof over their head.
Exactly. So why am I, beating myself up over a broken wrist in a car accident that I survived, thankfully, when I'm going to use that to tell my story, and motivate other people who want to give up sometimes. Yes, life is challenging. And again, people who look at me and probably would have never assumed that September I was, dealing with something so major, because it's the way I carried myself, because I didn't allow it. I want to be an example where no matter what you go through, for one, you don't know what people go through. Don't judge them by the way they look, they dress, because deep down, there's times I'd be here 8 hours, 12 hours, working straight, smile on my face. And as soon as I get in my car, I'm like, I just, cried all out, because I stayed strong for so long. And I was like, I just need to get it out. And I always remind myself, you could have a vulnerable moment. You need that sometimes. But I try to be strong for myself and the people around me, because of what I do for a living. I said, I can't call in sick, when I want to. Probably is a good thing. I never did call in sick when I had other jobs. I love working, but.
Aren't you planning on maybe hiring some people to help, or is that something coming up next?
That is something we will talk about in the next one. Okay. It's something that's, it's going to happen soon, which I'm really excited to share. And again, all this was my ammo to what I'm about to share.
So you used all these traumas that were happening to push you forward into what's coming next.
Exactly.
Without sharing too much about what's coming next, what can you give people an idea that it might be coming?
An idea, for those who know me and been around me, it's something I've talked about for the last 3 years. And it's something that has been one of my dreams. And it was actually my goal this year. And I set goals every year. And this was the only goal I set this year. And I achieved it. And it kind of fell in my lap, honestly. And I just took it and ran with it without hesitation. without question. People think I'm crazy sometimes, the decisions I make so rapidly, like even purchasing cars. I mean, those are like quick, and I'm a type of person, if I think about it, I'm going to convince myself not to do it. Just how I opened my business. I don't remember if we talked about it, but I opened my company within 72 hours.
I don't think we talked about that.
Well, that's something, if I could do that, then I'm like, all right, well.
We talked about your education journey and then you learning from other people and then starting your own practice. How'd you start it in 72 hours?
That was the adrenaline of it. But no, what I would say is when I had this idea of the company and what I want to do. I found my location, which I've been in this building for 13 years.
Where we are today?
Yeah, where we are today. Not directly this suite. I've been in this suite for 4 years. 2 suites over is my old office because I expanded. Same building. But I found that suite within 72 hours. I moved in. All night was moving furniture, didn't sleep for almost, I'm not even exaggerating, maybe about 40 hours of no sleep. Moved in and I took patients on 72 hours later. Started my company. I used to work for a doctor and they closed their business and we had an aesthetic side and all those aesthetic side patients were coming with me. So I had no choice but to start my own company.
Oh, so you already had your patients from what?
I had my patients from my job that I didn't own it. I worked for another doctor, a husband and wife, and I ran the aesthetic side of it. And they were closing the business and I had people booked and I'm like, well, I guess this is a push for me to open my own business. There was another doctor that used to work there and she was my ex-business partner, Dr. Goodwin. And I came up with the idea. I was 23 years old. I'm like, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I've had multiple jobs from 18 to 22 and I'm like, it's time for me to expand and I want to do this myself. Let's find a location. This is the colors I want to do. This is what I want to call the business. Let's do it.
Was it Flawless?
No, it was Beyond Aesthetics. Okay. That was with the doctor when I was a medspa. We opened together, and then I separated 4 years ago and opened my own company, and it's Flawless Aesthetics.
Okay. Nice.
So the fact I opened a medical spa at 23 years old and a doctor who didn't even know me well enough to trust me to be a partnership in it, but she did because she's seen my work ethic, and 72 hours, then I think I could do anything. And that's why when the 30-day event idea came, I was like, I opened the company in 72 hours. 30 days, I could do this.
So with this new venture that you're doing, what's a problem that you're hoping to solve with this? Or why was this such a big goal for you?
It was big goal because it's something I've talked about, and not only talked about, if I had a vision board, that would be the biggest thing on my vision board. And it's something I've wanted to do my whole life. So what motivated me honestly is my car accident. And
so maybe all these traumas were happening.
Exactly.
To prepare you for bigger blessings coming up.
Exactly. It was like a chapter.
And you also said something that how it just fell into your lap. What does that mean? Or like, what's the story behind that?
Okay, well, it fell into my lap because I'm trying not to say much.
Try to be as vague as possible, but still relevant.
Not that it fell in my lap, because I literally, what this is I spoke about it, wanted it, talked about it, and the timing was absolutely perfect when it was approached to me. And I'm like, how is the timing so perfect? And that's why I knew it was meant to be. Yeah. So, without me trying to say much. Okay. We got to give him 2 more weeks and then we'll announce it.
So the announcement is in 2 weeks. And
correct.
It doesn't launch until after that as well.
Correct. So
I don't even know what it is, so we're gonna know about it in 2 weeks then.
Well, you'll find out when we're videoing next week.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. So
we got a lot coming up. You should check out her Instagram, Flawless Aesthetics 916.
Thank you. Yeah, it's honestly it's a blessing in disguise for all the challenges, ups and downs, and
you not giving up. That's a huge part of it. That's something I
will never give up.
I always want to keep circling back to in terms of leadership. It's very inspirational for you to be dealing with all this pressure, and then you're still pushing forward and not deciding, oh, I'm too fragile for this, or why is this happening to me, or just dwelling on why is this happening to me? Because some people can stay for months, if not years, just feeling sorry for themselves, and you didn't, even though you had multiple big things happening back to back.
I think growing up when I had challenges, I wasn't as strong as I am. And like I mentioned in my first podcast, I was bullied and things I faced in life. And I allowed those things to get to me. And I knew where it put me in that moment, mentally and emotionally, that as I'm older, I refuse that. I will not allow those feelings, and something's good gonna come out of anything bad. And that's how I look at if something's happening to me, I'm like, all right, what's my lesson out of this? What's coming out of this next? And I seen it firsthand. I witnessed it, and my life has played that role for the last couple of years. So that's why I stay positive, because I know that, every challenge is going to be a successful story for me.
That by itself is a whole life lesson for a lot of people. To ask that question, what is God trying to teach me here?
Yeah.
That by itself is pretty much a huge part of it.
And I knew, my understanding, best of my knowledge, what I take that God was teaching me to slow down. Stop taking too much. It's okay to ask for help when I broke my wrist, because that's something I don't do. It's okay to, be vulnerable at times. And I lived such a fast-paced life since my event. It was just back to those charities I just named, and I wasn't giving time to heal from my change that was happening also. So
how would you guide someone who has difficulty asking for help? Or how did you go about it?
It's okay to ask. I've learned that from my wrist being broken. It is okay.
What if people would say that they're either afraid of rejection, or they're not sure if the other person even wants to be asked, or a multitude of other reasons? Because before you ask someone, sometimes you're thinking of a whole set of possibilities. I'm like, do I really? And your own dignity as well. Sometimes maybe it's just
the pride.
Ego.
Yeah.
Like, I really need help right now, but I'm too prideful to ask.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't hurt, because there are people out there willing to help, and go beyond. Speaking my experience, my friends and family, like all of them went beyond for me. Like my mom was cooking meals every day.
But
she would call me.
That's a direct family.
Yeah, but then
so
my
it's
friends,
easier to ask direct.
my friends, which I never asked them for anything, and.
How did they come through?
Specifically, I'll never forget is Amira, when we're at dinner and she cut up all my food for me because I couldn't cut the steak. Yeah. And
I bet you felt that was very cute of her.
Yeah, it was. It just, that's when I felt really vulnerable though. Yeah. Like I was like, wow, like I've never had anybody do that, and I didn't even ask her. She just did it. And
maybe when you were a baby, maybe you just don't.
Yeah, of course. But as an adult, that I will never forget. I absolutely love her, and just her always being there for me for everything I've done. And then I have my friend Melina, who literally cooked for me too. There was days where I didn't eat for a week, and my friend straight. I was mentally I was going through a lot, and
what did you do? Like you weren't eating at all, and you're still going to work and still living life?
Yeah. I still was, but sometimes I didn't have an appetite, and the only time I would eat is when my friend and when my mom would cook for me, and they would make me eat, because I was dealing with so much at the time, and at the same time, as strong as I was trying to be, there's, when you're alone, sometimes you're, like I said, that's when I was like the weakest, when I was alone, because in public, I don't want nobody to see that side of me. And going back to it, she was cooking for me also all the time, helping me get dressed because I couldn't change myself, like my clothes, like I couldn't do my hair.
Was she living with you, or?
I was living with her. She's my best friend / makeup artist, like my personal artist. I've known her since I was 12 or 13 years old.
Oh, nice.
So she really came through, for me, and she's a sister more than a friend to me. And then again, my sisters, my mom, my dad, just everything. Like, the amount of support I have, or had and have, I'm so thankful.
Yeah,
I'm so thankful.
Blessing by itself.
Everybody played a role in my life, and my patients too. There's been times, I forgot about that. There's been times I'm at work and I'm trying to open something and I can't open it, and my patients will see me struggling. Can I help you open that? And I'm literally struggling, and then I don't want to ask them, and they're like, "Can we help you? Like, it's okay." So there's been times my patients even would help me here because I had a broken wrist, and they were like helping me open my things I needed around here that I couldn't do myself. So, everybody played a big role in my life, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's end the podcast with a few rapid fire questions. You ready?
Oh, great. Okay.
All right. One word to describe 2026 so far.
Challenging.
Okay. Biggest lesson you've learned this year?
Never give up.
A habit that changed your life?
Working out.
What's something that people misunderstand about you?
My heart.
Okay. One thing you're excited about right now?
My announcement that's coming soon. I'm super excited about. I'm like, I want to tell you guys, but I can't.
You said it's the center of your vision board, so that's big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Probably the second biggest thing I've done in life.
One thing you're grateful for today?
My belief in my family.
Belief in God, or?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Because he's the reason I am where I am.
100%.
Yeah.
I respect that you acknowledge that.
Yeah.
All right, Rebecca. It's been a pleasure having you for round 2.
Yeah, this was amazing.
I'm looking forward to that announcement that you got.
Coming soon. I'm super excited. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Made me cry, but
There we
get
go.
it out of the system.
There we go.
Yeah.
Is there a question that you feel you wanted me to ask that I didn't? Or something that you want to share that we didn't cover?
I mean, I feel like we covered everything that's been going on in the last 8 months of my life. I mean, no, I think you're amazing at this, by the way. This is why I chose to do it again. There'll be a part 3 for sure after the fact.
So we're going to do the announcement, then part 3.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
That's a must. And then really cool things are coming this year, and I will be announcing all of that together. So stay tuned.
Oh, cool things with an S. So there's multiple.
Oh, there's
announcements.
multiple. Yeah.
Okay.
There's one major one, and then there's multiple ones following. And I'm always looking to do better, be better, find better. I mean, there's never enough for me. So.
And that's very inspirational. I'm very sure there's a lot of people out there that respect that and look up to it. And I also see it in some of the messages that you share the screenshots of on your story posts. You know, that's a lot of, I wouldn't just say client feedback, but just human feedback, you know, and that's very powerful.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that motivate me too is I get a lot of people who write me and say that I inspired them to go to school. This is why I do what I do. This is why I'm writing my book. That's happening no matter what. I put that on a back burner for too long.
It's not easy writing a book.
It is not. And there's a reason why I never finished it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I never finished it 3 years ago, because look, I have so much more to say now.
Yeah.
This year, you know, just this year alone with the charities and everything else that I faced, because it's an inspiration book.
Maybe something that might help you is setting a limit to the date that the book covers. Like,
Yeah.
for example, my book is about the first 22 years of my life. So that's the limit of what I'm going to cover there. And then another book from 22 to 33.
Oh, that's amazing.
Et cetera, et cetera. So you have like chapters.
Wow, that's amazing.
so
I didn't know
maybe
you were writing a book.
Yeah, I've had it for a long time.
Same with me, procrastinating.
Most of it is already written. I just
Yeah.
didn't put the paragraphs and the chapters
Same.
together to like flow, because a book is it has to have a flow to it, not just a bunch
course.
of random data.
But you're writing your story.
Exactly.
Yeah. And everybody has a story, you know, and everybody has a story to tell.
Everybody that puts the type of work that you put in.
Right.
Because not all stories are really, you know, worth knowing about.
Right.
But when you've actually worked really hard and you've gone through trials and tribulations and you made it out the other side and made something out of it,
Yeah.
that's worth knowing about.
100%. And my thing is, all I want to do with everything I'm doing and sharing, even with you and the charities, is I want to be an inspiration. And
You are.
my love language is giving, and I absolutely love giving. And if there's any charities out there that, especially with children, and you know, feel free to reach out to me. There's things I like to be a part of, and I've done so many different things that people reach out to me. I try to do as much as I can. You know, I'm only one person. I still have to run a business, but I'm always open to being a part of Sacramento. Like, I just love my hometown.
If I wanted to reach out to you as a charity, how do people reach out to you?
Well, there's a couple ways. On my Instagram, DM me on Instagram. I have my email on there, or my phone number's on there as well. My work phone, they can always reach out to me. Text me. Probably the easiest is texting me, because I don't check my DMs all the time. or not even calling because I don't answer phone calls. I'm with patients all day. I just check my text messages, my 100 messages I get every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen me post.
Yeah, you're always telling people to bear with you. You're getting to it.
Because I feel bad. Like, it's just, I mean, I'll, get to my messages and then like 3 days later, I'm back at that. But it's just,
Kind of
it's
like the
hard.
emails with the spam.
And everyone's like, well, why don't you have your assistant do it? I don't want anybody to answer. I like it personable when people meet me. I want to deal with them personally if they're reaching out to me and there's questions I ask that my assistant's not going to know to ask. So it's why I like to take care of those things.
At a certain level, if you want to scale up, that's something that you'd probably have to
eventually
take
do,
into
but it's my
consideration.
baby for 13 years and I've done it all myself.
The baby's got to grow. You got to stop changing the diapers. You got to let it change
That's
itself.
true. That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely true, but maybe one day we'll see when
Step
I'm
by
ready.
step.
When I'm ready, I like a little control.
Yeah.
When it's different too. Like I said, I'm very personable, and patients ask questions that my assistant wouldn't know how to answer if it has to do with aesthetics or, something that I do, and I like thorough and proper, answers.
Maybe that's why you've gotten so far with your business. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thankful. Honestly, I'm thankful and appreciate all my patients and everybody who has been there supporting me, and from thick and thin, from family, friends, patients, and all. Like I'm like cloud 9, honestly.
And on that note, we'll catch you guys for the announcement and then for part 3.
Coming soon. Thank you.